The reality system you live in is based on knowledge. Self-knowledge, knowledge about the system, knowledge about reality, the understanding of things, understanding why things are the way they are. The more advanced you are, i.e., the longer you have been here, because many of us have been coming back to learn things or to correct all of the karmic debt which we've been fooled into accumulating. So the more advanced you are, and some people, I have to say, some people come here by choice as teachers to teach those, to wake up those who need to get out of here. Now, spiritually, okay, I'm talking spiritual. Your spiritual journey, your life on earth, your schooling is over. Now you just need a few more courses. You need a few more credits. And then you can graduate. But the system is based on knowledge, A. B, the ascension process is guided by knowledge. That is to say, to progress, you need to increase your knowledge and understanding. Some of it, again, some of it is external knowledge, and some of it is self-knowledge. Now, quite often you are in a situation, you are in a particular situation. You are facing a very interesting challenge, right? Adversity, a challenge, a difficult decision. Now, sometimes how you react, how you deal with that situation is a reflection of your knowledge, right? So if you have the right knowledge, you will make the advanced choice. You will take the advanced path. And that will lead you further down your ascension. If you don't have the knowledge, or something is blocking it, right? You have emotional issues, trauma, and we all have issues. But if you can't overcome it, you make a lower choice based on improper knowledge, and then you go down that path. So the system says, right now the system says, this is the situation, this is the crisis. Whatever it is, family crisis, health crisis, career, finances, children, whatever it is, right? What do you want to do with your life? That's your, what do you call it? That's your curriculum. That's your interface. That's your, you know, the way you learn, the way you learn is through action, right? We learn through action. We learn by doing, the doing. And so the system gives us something to act upon, right? You need to act upon a situation. When you have adversity, you forget all that stuff. You forget about ascension. I got to do this. I'm in trouble. And you forget the learning. You forget the spiritual path. That you forget that the adversity is part of the illusion. It's right. It's part of the illusion. You're not supposed to treat adversity one way and then the good times another way, because they're both equal. Maybe that's not a clear concept, but they're both equal in the reality system. Now the difference is that the adversity provides more learning, right? That's the difference. There's more learning opportunity during adversity. There's more learning opportunity during failure. If you are here to learn, you take advantage of these crises, these adversities, these situations. And sometimes these situations go on for years. There's a lot of learning to go along with it. Now, if you look at the situation and you look at it negative and you get angry and you get depressed, that is also a reflection of your knowledge. And that means you are not at that spiritual level. You can't say I'm at the highest spiritual level, and then when something happens, you get angry and depressed. The system won't allow you to go forward. You might fool your friends, you might fool yourself. You might say, yeah, I'm very advanced spiritually. I read the book. But then when something happens, if you react badly, if you react improperly, that indicates you don't have the proper knowledge, the proper understanding. Now, okay, so let's get back, because I'm talking about Ascension. Now, if you're not here for Ascension, you're watching the wrong video. Ascension has a particular interest to a bunch of people, and a small group of people. It's a growing group. So the knowledge, so once you make the right decision, right? You got this situation, it's ugly, and it's, people yelling at you, and things are horrible, and it drags on, and it drags on, and you want to get out of it. But if you make the right decision, the system recognizes that you have the proper knowledge, and it allows you to move forward. Again, so let me just reiterate. There's the spiritual path, and there's the physical path, right? The physical path looks one way, and the spiritual path looks another way, right? Now, so the spiritual path is much higher. The spiritual path is much different. So you can't equate them. So you can't say that they are the same thing. You can't treat them the same. Because you might have to deal with a difficult situation in a very physical way. And you might have to go through some grief, and you might have to go through some change, and you might have to deal with the physicality of life. But the spiritual experience is much different, right? How you come out of it. You come out of it as a better person. You come out of it as more knowledgeable, with more self-knowledge, right? So you can't treat them the same, and you can't put yourself in a negative situation to obtain your learning, because that suggests you have improper knowledge. So the system is designed. Your life is already designed according to your incarnation, according to your knowledge, according to what you came here to learn. It's already designed, structured for your learning. And so it doesn't make sense to chase your learning somewhere else, right? I want to be something else. It's good to just do what's on your plate, eat the food on your plate. You can't eat all the food on the menu. Eat the food on your plate, live your life. And if you gain the experience and you learn and you gain self-knowledge, then new things will happen. I've seen it myself that when sometimes I gain a powerful understanding of something and my connection to it. And the next day or even the next hour, there's a strange phone call. There's a new opportunity arises. Just something I never thought, I never imagined. It just opens up. And it comes from my understanding. By the same token, if you don't have the understanding, if you don't have the knowledge, if you're not learning, you may be stuck in that situation. You may be stuck in a rut. And then you get angry and depressed and desperate. And that's when you could be led off the path. And some people are being led off the path. People who used to like star people now deny they even exist. Well, how can you deny they exist if they existed before and they pre-existed you? And they continue to exist. And then they go out to say, well, no, none of this is real. They've been turned. A lot of these people, they get attacked. When you're in this transition, when you're going through these difficulties, that's when you can get attacked. That's the prime position to get misled, to get nudged off your mission. And once you get nudged off, you may be going somewhere for several years and not knowing what's going on, and then you have to come back. And you've lost a lot of years, you lost a lot of legwork, you lost a lot of time, and you get old, and you didn't learn all your lessons. So knowledge, when I started to speak with star people, stellans, right? And there are all kinds, stellans. In general, they're more advanced than us. They're ahead of us. They're in the future. They're on higher frequencies. And they have higher knowledge. They have a higher understanding. So one of their protocols of engagement is that they'll ask you a question, right? They'll ask you a question, and then based on your response, they can determine what level of knowledge you have, right? Sometimes they'll ask, now this might not be a verbal question, it might be a thought question, a thought communication, a telepathic question, or it could be a question in your dreams. It could be you might meet them in your dreams and they'll say, they'll ask you something. Now, with myself, sometimes they'll ask me something quite obscure, quite strange. And that will determine what knowledge I have, because if I give the wrong answer, then they'll say, well, this person is at this level of knowledge. And then they interact with you at that level. So some people say, well, how come the star beings don't come to my place? Well, because maybe they already tried to engage you and they just found you don't have that knowledge, right? And they can't have a conversation if you don't have the knowledge and you're full of fear and paranoia and alien programming, all of this false alien programming. By the same token, I've been engaged with a fake alien. And if I cannot separate the difference between a real stellan and a fake alien, that is also a reflection of my knowledge. And the system, now remember, the system records everything. The system knows everything. The system knows your thoughts, your data. It has your data. You're in the system. You can't hide it. You can hide it from me, you can lie to me, you can fool me, but you can't fool the system, right? The system knows. The system runs the whole thing, and we are in the system. We are immersed in this reality operating system, right? It's just like all the data on your computer, right? The operating system has access to, right? It can access all of that information. You can access it, but your operating system, your computer, can access all that, and more data than you can, right? So you can say, I didn't hide anything. Everything you type on the computer and you erase, the system, your computer puts a note. You erased here, you deleted here, you trashed an email here. It's all there. Right? It's all recorded. All your mistakes are recorded. Same with the reality system. All your stuff is recorded. If you have knowledge, then you're making the right choices. If you can't distinguish between a fake alien and a real alien, then the stellan will read your thoughts and they will say, did he engage with any fake aliens? And if there is a lot of occurrence with that, and it's not justified, they won't engage with you, right? So one of the ways that the cabal operatives can ruin an extraterrestrial experience, right? An experiencer who gets visited and they start to believe and start to communicate and start to open up, is they get visited by these fake aliens, and they start to get this Pleiadian propaganda, this Arcturian propaganda, and they start hearing about the Orion propaganda. It's all this propaganda. And then they get confused. And then when the real Stellan comes, the Stellan goes, oh, this person's been compromised. I can't fully engage with them. So I can have a limited conversation, but I can't risk it because it might hurt them further. So we're going to let them resolve their problem, or we're going to get them somebody else to help them. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to go and worship the Pleiadians. So now when you get to higher beings, right? Oh, let's go here. Now when you get to higher beings, beyond the Stellans, advanced beings, advanced technologies, if you have not navigated this lower information, you're not going to get there because it's dangerous. It's dangerous because now you're dealing with higher information. And some of this information can be accessed by others, right? Just like quite often you don't know your mission in detail, because if you know your mission in detail, someone else can get that information. A magician, a good magician, can obtain that information. And there is technology available that can get that information. And if they find out your mission, they can compromise your mission. But the mission is very personal, right? Now, if you don't know how to defend yourself and how to protect your thoughts can be read and your mission compromised. And sometimes you could even be shut down. Like you could be spiritually shut down so that you no longer think about that stuff. And you could swing to some, logic-based path. So having higher knowledge without understanding and self-knowledge is dangerous because it does give access to others. Now, this becomes even more relevant if you're a magician. Now, there's fewer magicians. I don't explain magic because you can't explain magic. You either believe in magic or you don't believe in magic. You either know you're a magician or you don't know you're a magician. You either understand what I'm saying when I talk about magic or you don't. I'm not going to convince you to believe in magic. And magic is a very peculiar thing. And for many years, I didn't want to talk about it because it's so peculiar. But eventually I did start talking about it. And I think there is a group of people who are benefiting from some access to this esoteric art. And my magic is reality magic, which is based on the technological reality. There's no worshiping, there's no blood, there's none of this primitive stuff, okay? It's a science, it's an advanced science. Now, when it comes to magic, if you want to improve your magic, you also need to know how you can be attacked, how your information can be mined. And there's different technologies, there's spells that can steal your ideas, that can close off pathways. So why is that important? Because as you gain higher knowledge in magic, you can affect reality at a higher level, right? So somebody could dial into you and change reality for the negative, right? Can damage reality or can hurt people through you because you don't know how to protect yourself. You don't know how to defend yourself. And it's not just as simple as I surround myself with the white light. That's not really magic. That's just a kind of protection. That's not magic. Magic, a magician can circumvent that with very little effort. So I'm talking about when you obtain high knowledge. If you don't know how to protect yourself, if you don't know how to manage the energy, right? If you don't, because when you get higher, you get attacked by energetic attacks. And let's say they don't take anything from you, but if you can't manage that energy fluctuation, and if you can't manage and modulate your energy and your frequency, then you're not going to last long up there, right? So sometimes the path of the magician, you get attacked. You're in situations where you're constantly attacked, you're under threat, you're dealing with a lot of negativity, you find yourself isolated, alone, all of this stuff, because sometimes it's developing your systems, right? Your energetic systems, your understanding, your independence, your fear of isolation. Because sometimes when you go into a higher dimension, it's nobody there. You could lose your mind, right? You could lose your direction. And then that would be damaging to your life. So the system recognizes all of this stuff that you don't recognize. And it prepares you. And it prepares you by all of the adversity in your life, the challenges in your life, by the things you do, right? Sometimes you do something a little different. Maybe there's a reason for it. So the idea is to understand, what's the reason I'm doing this? Is there a higher reason I'm doing this really boring, stupid thing? But maybe there is a higher reason. Maybe we need to wait 3-4 months before you can transition to something else. So we put you in this situation and you can help a few people. And then when the timing is right and all the planets align, you can transition, right? And you'll have been busy doing something positive, or maybe correcting some of your karmic debt, right? Maybe what you're doing is repaying your karmic debt, and that's why it's boring, because you have to do it because it's something from the past. So you find a way to enjoy it because you understand there are higher reasons. It's not just a physical life. It's not, you're a spiritual being inhabiting a physical body. So you should be angry less and depressed less than most people. Because as long as you're obtaining spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, and that is the prize, that is the possession, because that will lead you to graduation. You want to graduate, you want to go to the next level. Right? The life is temporary. It's a temporary life. You got 80 years, maybe 100, right? The earth is 4.5 billion years old. If you are here for 100 years, is that long? It's like a poof, poof, right? Poof. But what's happened is because of the way the planet, the system was hijacked, was hacked, and things were turned around, and they turned things upside down, right? They reversed things, they turned things inside out. So you don't know if you look up or look down. You think this is good and that's bad. They've twisted things around, right? They use very advanced techniques. And so we've gone through previous lives, accumulating all of this karmic debt and not doing what we came here to do. And so we became trapped in the reality, living life after life and not knowing why, not knowing how to get out, not even thinking I need to get out, right? You forget. Most people don't know that. Nobody told me. I started talking about it. And people are going, yeah, maybe that's true. So we've been trapped. And what the master controllers have done is they've trapped us here so they siphon our energy to their benefit. We're working for them, right? Because we're facilitating this suffering, endless suffering. And the Gnostics have always said, for 2,000 years, they said, knowledge, salvation through knowledge, that through the understanding of the way reality works and our relationship to it, we will obtain salvation. Salvation is the end of pain and suffering. The end of pain and suffering is when you realize that we are living inside of a computer-generated world, a very well-designed illusion that has all of the elements of physicality, all designed as a school for you to learn, right? And once you understand that, you came here to learn, this is a school, I need to do these things because I want to graduate. Knowledge. It's very powerful. Knowledge is very powerful. You can't fool the system. Try not to fool yourself. And try not to be hard on yourself. If you don't understand, see if you're making the right decisions. See if you're understanding why things happen to you, right? Learn from your experience. And then don't do that again. Then keep learning from your experience. You're getting knowledge, right? The system knows, right? And the beings, the stellans, they know. And the higher beings know. So if you want to communicate with those people, you don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid. And if somebody tries to make you afraid, get it out, right? Block it out. Shield it. And separate the difference between the real advanced being and the fake ones. The real theory and the fake theory, right? And, that is a reflection of your knowledge. Your world is a reflection of you. If you're at a higher level, you will understand that you are exactly where you need to be at the time you need to be